Shaili? Hello? Yeah. Why don't you go, Shaili? Just unmute and talk about tell me how it's gone.
Hello.
Yeah. Can't hear you. Yes, yes, so much better. Yeah. Please go ahead.
No, on the phone. Yeah. So I did this exercise, this activity around the globe, and the idea was to uh, sort of deal with the concepts of seasons, how they occur, or what are the movements of Earth with respect to the sun that cause the seasons, which season comes after which in which part of the Earth. So that was the concept that had to be dealt with, and I had four kids. So unfortunately, I'm new in the society and I don't know any of these kids personally. So it was a first time meeting for for us. So it took a little some time to build that sort of rapport with the kids. Nevertheless, three kids were from class 6, and they had already studied the movements of Earth, and one was from class 7th. So the class 7 kid already knew about the equinoxes and the other thing, uh, solstices. But then as it turned out, when we started doing the activity, he had just read them in his course book, textbook, and he did not actually know what actually happens, what are the natural phenomena that cause the equinoxes and the solstices. So first, uh, I'll speak about one of the limitations that I uh, sort of encountered from the beginning, and that was that we went way beyond the time that I had stipulated. So I thought we'd be able to complete at least two rounds of the activity. So there were two teams, so one transfer team within 1.5 hours. But even at the end of 2 hours, I didn't have much time. So we were still doing the activity, and so I had to rush through the questions at the back, at the end. At the end.
Any questions
Very
for
positive
Shaili?
thing that I was.
Yeah, go ahead, Shaili. Yeah.
Yeah, so and one thing that I was really also pleased about the activity was that the children had a very good time handling the globe. They were very excited about the material, the way it behaved, and the way that they could move with it. So a revolution, actually, they could the the behavior of light on Earth, and the fact that which hemisphere receives more light. So why do we say that the poles have daylight the whole for 6 months, and the other pole is in dark for those 6 months? So they could actually see and rotate, revolve, move the globe, count the lines, the longitudes, that they were very thrilled about. And I think that made the experience very meaningful and useful as well.
Thanks, Shaili. Questions for Shaili, observations? Anybody has questions for her?
Uh, Ma'am, I do not have a question, but since Shaily's and mine was a very similar kind of activity,
Mhm.
I also had a similar kind of experience that the kids, mine, I started with day and night and duration of sunlight on at different positions during revolution, and then went on to seasons and things like that. My experience was very similar to Shelley's. The kids were very happy doing the thing with the globe. And initially, I had to do hand holding, do prompting for them. Then once they got comfortable with the resource, they were exploring it on their own. So what happened is that they came up with questions that if it rotated the other way around, if the Earth rotated the other way around, how would it be? Would the same country have day and night and things like that? So my understanding was if the children are left alone with a resource, with a little bit of prompting, they come up with a lot of construction on their own as to what we expect from an activity. They go beyond that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is actually a very insightful observation that Hardy had made. Exactly this, that when you leave the children with the resource, the exploration of the resource itself begins to generate ideas and questions in in the child's mind, which are beyond what we may have prepared for. And so that kind of generative possibility within a resource is something which makes it so exciting and valuable. So I think that's a very important observation. I want you to think, Shaili, and also Divya, as you were handling the resource, there's this other observation that has been made about resources, that when you have an actual resource in your hand and you're working with it, then children in a range of level of understanding are all able to latch on in some way into the activity which is ongoing. Did you have any experience of that kind, that the the resource allows the activity to be a little bit more agnostic to or blind to the question of the actual precise capability or the competencies that children have, and it allows children with a range to equally participate?
Ma'am, I didn't get the question exactly.
So, what I was asking is, did you, during the use of the resource, have this experience that the children's the resource is not picking on a very specific kind of competency in the child, but because there's a resource in hand that we're working with, children can come at it from a range of beginning points.
Yes, I agree with that, ma'am, because uh, when they started with it, they were the replies were coming just as if they've just read the book and they're giving the replies. They were not even looking at the resource, but being prompted. And when I asked them, observe and then reply, see if this is happening, what you are talking about. Can you explain it to me? Showing, pointing on the globe, what is happening. You have to observe. Then they started doing it and started explaining, and then that is when they got really involved with it. Otherwise, yeah, rotation causes day and night. They have known it, and they were, this is what is happening when we rotate it. So, and also, I had only two kids to start with. So, both of them had opposing views and they were just not ready to listen. So, they came from a very different point of view, but once they started exploring it and started talking with each other, they realized that both of them are talking about the same thing but in a different manner. So, that is one thing that happened. And yes, uh, they complemented each other, I would say.
If I might add, one very normal reaction of kids, they're always very right answer oriented. So immediately they'd ask me, "Is this right? Who is right? Whose answer is right? Is our assumption correct or theirs?" And then when asked to explain how they derived the answer, or how they came to, deduce a certain answer, it was then that they they slowly they stopped asking somehow. They stopped asking me, is it right or wrong? So they could make it out for themselves, that this will happen because this has happened, because it is like this, because this earth moves like this, because the sun is here, because the earth is here. So they stopped asking me whether it's right or wrong
Yeah,
by the end of.
that's a really interesting observation again, that the resource in a way transfers this ability to judge to the children, and they're not dependent on the linguistic. Uh, you see, when we're working only with words, we don't have any way of actually verifying whether our answers are right or wrong, because the words don't actually let us make the judgment, and we're then dependent on teachers to confirm. The fact of the resource actually allows you to model your thinking and explore the phenomenon. So that's something that seems to be empowering children. That's an interesting idea. Did you have any opportunity to investigate children's thinking? Did you ask them why they think so, or the experience of using the globe? Did you get any insights into what the resource meant to their thinking process, or any reflection on their own reasoning, their own reflection on their reasoning?
So, ma'am, I will share. When I was asking them, they were basically focusing on India and trying to understand which part will get sunlight first, which will get last, and they were like, they were not able to articulate that it is east, but they were looking at the name of the city and telling that yes, Gangtok will get it first, then it will come to this one, then it will come to this one. So they were doing that exploration, and I just prompted them that do you think that some country can have darkness and light at the same time? And their immediate response was no, time is same in a country. And then they started exploring it, and I asked, okay, why do you think so? Look at some other countries as well. And it was a revelation when they all of a sudden you see that light on their face. Yes, Russia is wider, China is wider, so it is happening here. So that kind of involvement and experience with the resource is something which gets them thinking. And they do experience it. And at the end of it, when I asked, so how was the experience, Pat came the reply that this is a better way of learning day and night than the way that we saw a video and did it in a class. So I guess.
Did they tell you why they thought it was better?
Yes, they said that now we have been able to see what is happening. We could make it out. We saw it in the video also, but now that we have been able to see and go back and do things and see it, we have understood it better.
Yeah, so you can kind of do and undo and redo and undo.
Yes.
And then explore it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Divya and Shaili, for that. Chetan, Ikram, Majid, do any of you have experiences to talk about? Go ahead, yeah, Majid. Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, I hope you and all of my classmates be healthy and happy. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you all. We've just celebrated our Harvest Festival in India, and we're all very happy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I prepared an activity. It was flashcards. I implemented on three groups. First, I prepared flashcards by Dari from first group to make 5 sentences, 5 words. They make 5 words very successfully. Then I gave them 5 specific words. Also, they make those words. the on third groups, I prepared the flashcards by English words, English letters. Then I asked them to make five English words, but they cannot make it. Only they make two words. After that, I gave them five specific words, easy words, English words. Then they make four words, but they cannot make five words, five English words, because they didn't have familiarity to English words, because I implemented it in third class. But two groups was very successful, but one group was they cannot make the English words.
Okay.
It was very interesting to me because also the students was very interesting to this activity. It was very useful to them, because they can distinguish between the letters, and they find among other letters and to make the words. Also, we can use this activity to the 7 or 6 or 8 class.
Majid, do you think this activity was with the activity with Dari, was it too easy for the students, you think?
Yes, because they knew about the Dari letters.
Yeah. How could you have made it? Yeah. How could you make this activity interesting, even for a class 3 child? How could you have done it? Yeah.
The Dari letters very easy.
Yeah.
I provide the flashcards, and I wrote the letters from A to Z from English. Also, we write the Dari from Aleph until up to Ya or A to Z. All the alphabets, letters, and they can find those letters. Those letters, it need to those words among of the other letters. It was very interesting to them.
Okay. Any suggestions, reactions, questions for Majid on this activity? Any few? Majid, how is this giving it on flashcards different from writing all the letters on the blackboard and asking students to make words? Why do you think flashcard was useful?
Because when we write the letters on blackboard, on whiteboard, they can find easy among of those words. But we wrote the letters from different colors to flashcards, and we put them on the table in front of all students. They try to find, everyone try to find those letters. It was very interesting.
But I want everybody to think about it. Why would it be more interesting to have these letters on flashcards and not written on a board? How would the flashcard make this activity more engaging for students as compared to writing it on a board? This is an open question for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm definitely expecting somebody to try to answer that.
Would it be that once the child is handling something with their hands, the involvement is a little more than just observing and trying to understand? What I would say is all the senses are involved when they are handling something with their hands as well. Whereas when you are looking at the board, your mind is not as much engaged, and the involvement is not to that level.
Could be, yeah. So it does seem that if you have a flashcard, you can pick up a letter, bring it close to you, and attend to it. But if it's all on the board, it's all there on up there. So maybe the act of picking up letters focuses you on
Yes.
a few letters with which you then try to make words. So it's possible that by breaking up letters onto flashcards, we enhance the ability to attend, pay attention. Yeah, so that's something to think about, why flash. It seems like a very trivial thing, but it's a useful thing to think about. How is it that it's the same material, it's the same letters, but when it is put into the flashcard form, it is possible that it generates a way of working with it, which is not possible when the letters are just all listed out, particularly for children. I think maybe for adults, it may not make as much of a difference, but
Yes.
possibly for children it would. Yeah. Majid, I was also thinking, so instead of giving the students all the alphabets, supposing all the alphabets are put into a bag, all the flashcards, you put them into a bag, and the child has to pull out 4 flashcards and then try to make a word with those 4.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. How would the two games be different when you put all the flashcards
Mechanics.
into a bag and you're picking out 4 versus putting all the flashcards out in the front and then you have to make words? How are the two experiences? How could they be different from each other?
Sorry, I couldn't catch your
So
question.
one is when we put all the letters out in front of the child and then they pick up some and they try to make words. That's scenario 1. Scenario 2, we put all the letters into a bag and they pull
Yeah.
out 4.
Yeah.
How would the two be different from each other? This is again an open question.
We can,
Please, of
we
course,
can use,
yeah, but I want you to think about
Yeah.
how it is different. How are the two different from each other as experiences? How are the two experiences different from each other? You're right, it will work. What is the difference in the two?
Hello, you can hear me, ma'am?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Abdar Kejriwal. I have one idea about your question.
Yes.
According to, excuse me, two different ideas about especially in Afghanistan, they
Yeah.
use different teaching methods.
Yeah.
Some teachers use group activities. Some teachers use competition activities. Some teachers use lecture method because they get different experience learning. In my opinion, not the same level because some students from educated family, they have a good experience and can answer, prepare good answer and prepare like our activity was about word wall, and they prepare good word and word card for word wall activity. But
Right.
some student in my activity they cannot prepare some words like in books. They cannot understand the meaning of. Also, they didn't understand that at the fourth class, but they,
Yeah.
they couldn't understand the words. They couldn't understand the letter of English. Just they didn't know understand only the letter. Very difficult because they are
Yeah.
uneducated.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Right now, can I have some reflection on the question that I've asked? How are these two experiences different from each other? You have a set of flashcards. One is you put out all the flashcards in front, and then the child picks.
Family.
Yeah.
Because
The other is
the experience the teacher is
Yeah, but
different with
what
each
is
other.
different in it? What is different? Why is it different?
This is my idea about the two different idea in the same soul.
I want you to think about how the element of luck comes in when you're pulling alphabets out of a bag. There's an element of luck. Only you have, and also you have only 4 alphabets, so you can see if you can make a word with those or not. So here there's some selection which has happened. There's an element of luck in that selection, and in that you have to now try to solve. So it can focus the problem a little bit more when you design it in this way, rather than putting out all the alphabets in the front of the child. Yeah. So do think about these aspects of designing activities as well, that they have to have, we have to create purposiveness in the activity. So either we are constantly asking the questions, and by that effort, we as teachers, we create the purposiveness in the activity, or else if children have to pull alphabets out of the bag, then even if the teacher is not there, the child can keep doing it. Even if we are not there to check if the word is correct or not, or to challenge the child with a word, 2 children can keep competing with each other with a bag of alphabets in between. Yeah. So do consider these features of activities that contribute to their difference. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to reading your experiences now as you send them back to me for review. I hope you will all start doing that. Please start writing up your activities experience. Use the set of questions that I shared last time. Imaya has shared the presentation with you. Please try to form your assignment based on trying to answer all the questions that were put out there. That will help you focus your description of what is worth reporting. And of course, you're free to go beyond it, but I definitely want you to use those questions to reflect on your experience. Yeah. Okay. So shall we now? Yeah. Let's move on. Shall we move on to today's class discussion? The plan for today. Yeah. Is that okay? Or is yeah? Is that okay? Or is yeah? Please go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Please speak.
Resource.
Please speak.
About the future of resource. Yes. I think the best resources and activities that which will bring the positive changes in the children development to learn something. And because in Afghanistan, some schools I saw and observed some children they are graduated from fourth in sixth class as primary school, but they can understand to write and read something.
Yeah.
It is difficult. The best resource is that to bring positive changes in children mind to learn something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Obviously,
It is not important.
Obviously, we would not value resources that don't bring about any positive change. Yeah, they're not. We would not. They may keep children busy, but may not actually enable children to learn something. We would, maybe it's useful as a game, but not as a educational resource. Yeah. Okay. Let's let's start discussing today's reading. Sandeep, you want to speak about your activity? Please go ahead. I don't mind waiting. Sandeep?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Sandeep. Yeah.
Hi, ma'am. हेलो.
Yeah. Hello. Go ahead. Yeah.
हाँ मैम, मेरे एक्टिविटीज के बारे में मैं थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना चाहूँगा.
हाँ.
तो जिस वक्त मैंने ये एक्टिविटीज ली तो उस वक्त में मैंने अलग अलग डिवीजन के स्टूडेंट्स थे मेरे पास. एक ए डिवीजन, बी डिवीजन एंड सी डिवीजन। पर जिस वक्त मैंने एक्टिविटीज ली तो उसके पहले सी और बी डिवीजन के जो स्टूडेंट्स थे उनको एडिशनल और सब्सट्रैक्शन नहीं था, इतना उनका प्रोग्रेस नहीं था उसमें। और जिस वक्त में मैंने एक्टिविटी स्टार्ट की तो स्टार्टिंग में 2 राउंड्स जो थे, तो 2 राउंड्स में उनका तो इतना डेवलपमेंट नहीं हुआ, पर लास्ट राउंड तक उनका सब्सट्रैक्शन में और एडिशनल में उनका डेवलपमेंट तो अच्छी तरह से हुआ। तो इसके वजह से जो स्कूल में जो बच्चे लोग जो टीचर लोग बच्चों को पढ़ाते हैं तो उनको अलग अलग इस तरीके से अगर पढ़ाए तो ए ग्रेड के स्टूडेंट के साथ भी उनका कंपैरिजन हो सकता है और उनका एडिशनल और सब्सट्रैक्शन में अच्छी तरह से प्रोग्रेस हुआ। तो
क्यों कौन सा एक्टिविटी किया संदीप?
मैंने सब्सट्रैक्शन और एडिशनल का
नहीं, किसके साथ? अच्छा, प्ले कार्ड से किया।
हाँ, प्ले कार्ड।
पर कौन से क्लास के स्टूडेंट्स थे?
सेकंड ग्रेड।
पर प्ले कार्ड्स को यूज करेंगे तो सिर्फ 1 से लेकर 9 तक गिनती की प्रैक्टिस होती होगी ना?
हाँ हाँ, तो मैंने मैडम एक जो था एक का तो एक का निकाल दिया, तो 2 से 10 तक की गिनती मैंने उसमें ली, क्योंकि ए जो था तो अल्फाबेट था तो इसके लिए वो कंफ्यूज होते थे, तो इसके लिए मैंने 2 से 10 तक की गिनती उसमें ली।
So yeah, but do think about it, Sandeep, that you worked with class 2 children, but it was just doing unit addition and unit subtraction, है ना?
हाँ,
तो आपने डबल डिजिट्स पे गए
नहीं, क्योंकि उनके सिलेबस में सिंगल तो यूनिट का ही था, तो डबल
नहीं हो नहीं सकता। क्लास 2 के बच्चे तो डबल डिजिट एडिशन सब्ट्रैक्शन कर रहे हैं।
हाँ, तो जो मैंने 2 कार्ड्स उनको दिए ना, तो डबल डिजिट के नंबर में नहीं, तो मैं बोला उनको सिंगल डिजिट ही नहीं आता है, तो डबल डिजिट उनका प्रोग्रेस तो जरा मुश्किल था, इसके लिए मैंने सिंगल डिजिट ही लिया उनका।
अच्छा, so Sandeep, to move from this point that you restricted the experience to single digit, but these are class 2 children, right? After round 3 the children were successful, they were able to add and subtract. To go from that to saying that you will make them catch up with the grade level appropriate syllabus is a long way. Yes, I want you to think about that. Yeah, so don't extend your findings too much. Yes, we can say the children enjoyed it and they became quickly able to do addition and subtraction with 1 digit numbers. But tell me, how is this experience different from giving addition subtraction problems in your notebook? ये जो कार्ड गेम आपने किया, एडिशन सब्ट्रैक्शन प्रॉब्लम का, कॉन्स्टेंस कमाई का गेम, इसमें और बुक में एडिशन सब्ट्रैक्शन देने में क्या फर्क है?
हेलो।
हाँ,
हेलो।
यस।
हाँ मैम। हाँ हेलो।
यस, गो अहेड।
हाँ मैडम, बुक में जो दिया है तो उनको 1+1, 2+3 इस तरीके से उनको दिया है, तो उनको मल्टीपल तरीके से उनको एडिशनल करना और अलग अलग तरीके से माइनस करना, ये तरीका उनको बुक में दिया नहीं है, जो स्टेट बोर्ड का बुक मैथमेटिक्स का। तो
नहीं,
मैंने पहले देखा तो अलग नहीं,
वो बात ठीक है, पर आप जो भी प्रॉब्लम वो कार्ड को लेकर कर रहे थे, आप उसी प्रॉब्लम को नोटबुक में भी लिख सकते थे, है ना?
हाँ।
तो फिर कार्ड में करना और नोटबुक में लिख के करने में क्या फर्क है?
तो कार्ड पे जो किया तो उनको इंटरेस्ट लगा और एक खेल की तरह उन्होंने एंजॉय किया, और नोटबुक में करते समय उनको तो बोरिंग लग रहा था, क्योंकि मैंने उनका इंटरव्यू लिया तो उनसे पूछा कि यहाँ जो आपने जो सीखा या खेला, तो उन्होंने कहा
हाँ,
वो एंगेज ज़्यादा हो गए और बार बार वो करने के बाद 2-3 बार वो लगातार मेरे घर पे आए, क्लास
okay. Actually, so this is a good point, isn't it? That this way of doing the activity makes children more interested.
हाँ, और उसमें एंगेज हो गए हो, और एंगेज के बाद उनको और उसमें अलग अलग तरीके रखे मैंने, क्योंकि जिसका ज़्यादा सब्सट्रैक्शन आ जाएगा तो दो कार्ड्स में 3 चीज
Yeah.
तो चिल्ड्रंस को बांटा, जिसका ज़्यादा नंबर आ जाएगा तो वो भी और उसके बाद अगर 3 चिल्ड्रन में सेम नंबर आ गए या 2 चिल्ड्रन में सेम आ गए तो तो 2 कार्ड्स का उनको सब्सट्रैक्शन करना है, तो
Yeah.
करने के बाद जो नंबर ज़्यादा आएंगे तो वो नंबर जो स्टूडेंट्स के पास ज़्यादा आएंगे वो विनर हो जाएंगे। तो इस
ठीक है।
तरीके से वो एक दूसरे का भी तो कैलकुलेशन करते थे।
Yeah. So you were able to invent new rules and make the game more interesting. So look at the feature of this. The problems keep getting generated from the resource. Even Sandeep is not giving them problems. The children are pulling out cards and the problems are getting made up on the spot. So there is infinite potential. Also, this activity, when it's in a notebook, somebody will have to use it. If Sandeep, can you please mute?
हेलो
Sandeep, thanks. So because children are pulling out cards and showing them the activity which would otherwise be individual activity. If you write it in a notebook, only one child will do it in the notebook. The activity has become social because of the resource. Same addition subtraction problem is now being done in a social context, not in an individual notebook context. The second is that the problems are getting made up on the spot by the act of pulling out the cards, which is much more interesting than giving a sheet of problems to the child, which will always be limited. Also, problems may get repeated, but there's still an interest even when the problems get repeated, when children are pulling them out. So these are some of the very powerful things about this format of doing it as opposed to giving it in a notebook. Yeah, people, you can also say, throw the die and you keep adding up the numbers which come. Yeah, that's an interesting way of generating a problems. But after a point, even that becomes boring if you have to just do it on your own with yourself. Here, because you're playing with other children, the addition subtraction becomes interesting in that context. Sandeep, I want you to think about how you can slowly help the same group of children now learn to do two-digit addition and subtraction. शायद इसी कार्ड्स के साथ आप नहीं कर पाओगे, शायद कार्ड्स को बदलना पड़ेगा आपको, पर इसके बारे में भी आप सोचो कि हम क्या कार्ड्स के साथ नंबर को बड़े नंबर भी दे सकते हैं बच्चों को, सिर्फ छोटे नंबर नहीं.
तो इसके बारे में मैंने सोचा, जो सिंगल कार्ड के साथ हम मल्टीप्लिकेशन भी तो सोच सकते हैं, अगर थर्ड ग्रेड के स्टूडेंट के साथ, फोर्थ ग्रेड के स्टूडेंट के साथ मल्टीप्लिकेशन, तो और ये सिंगल डिजिट नंबर ही ये कार्ड में कर सकते हैं, डबल डिजिट नंबर तो करना जरा मुश्किल होता है.
नहीं, पर आप यदि आप अपने कार्ड्स बनाएंगे और नंबर उस पे आप खुद लिखेंगे, 12, 14, 15, आप खुद बनाओ कार्ड्स. Okay. Let's just take one more discussion and then Chetan, you would like to talk about your experience, so will you go ahead? Yeah. Chetan, go ahead. Yeah.
हेलो मैम.
Yeah.
मैंने मार्बल एंड आर्च गेम का यूज़ किया. पहले तो मैंने सोचा कि पहले फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड में इसका यूज़ करूं, जो सेकंड और थर्ड डिजिट के साथ होगा, लेकिन इमाया मैम से बात करने के बाद मैंने वो फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड में किया. तो जिस जेडपी स्कूल में मैंने किया था, वहाँ पे मैंने जाके देखा तो वहाँ के स्कूल पहले से ही मटेरियल के साथ काम करते हैं. तो वहाँ पे बहुत सारे मटेरियल्स थे, जैसे कि मुझे वहाँ पे अलग अलग मार्बल्स के गेम मिले, अलग गेम मिले, कुछ अलग कार्ड्स मिले, कुछ पत्ते के गेम भी वहाँ पे उन्होंने किए थे. उन बच्चों को मैं गया तब कुछ नया नहीं लग रहा था, सब कुछ उनके साथ वो अच्छे से मैनेज कर रहे थे, मेरे साथ काम कर रहे थे. लेकिन जब मैंने 1 to 10 तक का फर्स्ट डिजिट का वहाँ उनके साथ एडिशन एंड सब्सट्रैक्शन किया, तब पता चला कि बच्चे इसमें एंजॉय कर रहे थे. जैसे कि मैंने वहाँ पे एक गेम खेला, जैसे 6 बच्चों को मैंने वहाँ पे लिया मेरे साथ, उनको हर एक को 5-5 मार्बल्स दिए. बच्चों को R से 1, 3 and 5 ये 3 नंबर मैंने यूज़ किए थे. और उसके बाद बच्चों को मैंने वो दिया। बाकी सब बच्चे देख रहे थे और एक 6 बच्चे मेरे साथ थे जो मार्बल्स डाल रहे थे। तब पहला बच्चा मार्बल डाला तो जिस आर्च में से वो गया वो काउंट हो रहा था। बाकी सब भी बच्चे उसको काउंट कर रहे थे। लेकिन दूसरी चीज वो ये भी देख रहे थे किसके ज्यादा जा रहे हैं, किसके पास ज्यादा पॉइंट्स आ रहे हैं, वो भी देख रहे थे। और बाद में ये एडिशन का हो रहा था। उसके बाद जब सबका एडिशन खत्म हुआ, मतलब 5 के 5 मार्बल सबने डाल दिए, तब एक फाइनल पॉइंट्स मिले थे उन बच्चों को। उसी में से मैंने उनको माइनस करने के लिए बोला। बाद में दूसरे राउंड में जितने मार्बल्स जा रहे हैं अंदर, जिस पॉइंट मिल रहे हैं वो उसमें से माइनस करने हैं। सबसे लास्ट में जिसके पास ज्यादा बचेंगे वो विन हो गया। ऐसा एक गेम वहाँ पे स्ट्रक्चर किया गया था। उसमें बच्चों ने वो एंजॉय किया पूरा का पूरा गेम, और उन्होंने उसमें से लर्न भी किया। लेकिन एक बात पता चल रही थी कि जब बच्चे उसमें इन्वॉल्व हो रहे हैं अच्छी तरह से, तब ज़्यादातर वो गेम की तरफ ध्यान दे रहे थे, वो नंबर की तरफ ध्यान नहीं दे रहे थे कि क्या नंबर्स मिल रहे हैं या एडिशन कर रहे हैं या सबसे वो प्रोसेस की तरफ ध्यान नहीं दे रहे थे वो। लेकिन वो कर रहे थे, उनको पता नहीं चल रहा था कि वो प्रोसेस हो रही है। लेकिन वो प्रोसेस अपने आप हो रही थी, लेकिन उनको पता नहीं चल रहा था, इतना ही।
So in your view, Chetan, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, it's a good thing. उनको वो कर रहे प्रोसेस, बाद में अगर हम उनको बताया जाए कि ये प्रोसेस हो रही थी इसमें और आपने ये करा, तो उसको समझ में भी आ जाएगा। लेकिन वो प्रोसेस समझने से ज़्यादा कर रहे थे, खुद कर रहे थे, खुद एक्सप्लोर हो रहे थे, तो वो अच्छी बात थी, ऐसा मुझे लगता है।
Okay. Yeah. Any questions for Chetan? So Chetan's observation here is that in the course of the game, the maths is not very much in the child's attention. It's more the game itself. Did any of you have that experience with the flashcards, for example, Majid? Did you have that experience with flashcards or with Shab Divar? Did any of you have such experiences where the game is more the focus than the learning content, which is also an interesting thing. I notice we have about 15 minutes, and so I'm thinking I won't go into Jai Shri Ramdas's paper today. I'll keep that for next class. But in the meantime, I'm thinking, would Alif, Zarmina, Amina, Sharvari, Ikram, would you like to talk about your experiences? Go ahead, Ikram. Yeah.
Could you hear us, madam?
Yes, perfectly. Please speak. Yeah.
A few days ago, when I went to a class, which is a
Go ahead, Ikram.
I had planned some basic shapes to teach her to understand the basic shape of geometry, for example, square, rectangular, and those were the shapes. And therefore, I have selected some cutouts and some basic shapes like train, cats, and other cartoons. And I applied my plan and learning came because in these days we have vacation holidays because of the winter. So I have applied my plan and a learning came class. It was not specified that is it a first class student or a second class student, but all of them were so weak. Therefore, we had a class mixed class.
Okay. You had a mixed age group. So what was the experience of doing the activity? What was your experience?
It was, I wanted to teach them the basic shape, square, rectangular, and circle, and beside of it, it was the four shape, square, rectangular, triangle, and circle.
Right.
Yes.
What do you think that the students understood properties?
Yeah.
Or teaching?
For the first time, yeah, for the first time when I tell him that what is this shape, there were some shapes on the white paper. For
Yeah.
example, square and rectangular. For the first time when I told them that, do you know the difference between both of them? Some of them were able to tell something, but most of them they told that there is no any difference, and both of them are the same. But at last, when I apply my plan and when I did some work with them, practically on material and cutouts, at last they understand that what is the difference. It means what is the property of square and what is the property of rectangular.
So it's mainly square and rectangle, which is the teaching focus, because these are the two shapes which have many similar properties and only one property which is distinctly different. So what did you do, Ikram, to bring this out, to focus on square and rectangle? What kind of questions did you ask and what did you make them do?
Yeah, madam, I have some cuts out of train and those kind of things, and they made some similar shapes, which I have delivered to them.
But how did you
when
focus
they,
how did you focus their attention experientially on this property, that in the square all the sides are equal, but in the rectangle only opposite pairs are equal? How did you help them experience this?
Yeah, I had some cuts out, and I told them that you have to paste those shapes on the white paper to make the similar shapes. For example, there was a train on the paper, the shape of the picture of the train, and I told them that you have to paste the square on the square place and the rectangular on the rectangular.
But sorry, Ikram, this seems to be an activity that even preschool children can do. Paste the square on the square, paste a circle on the circle. This is too easy for children in class 1 and 2.
Sorry, madam.
Huh.
Yeah. When I went there, I talked with some of the teachers that I want a specific class student to work with them. They have told me that we do not have those kind of students, because in these days we have holidays, vacation, 3 month vacation here. And it was a learning game which has established by Swedish Community for Afghanistan, because of the weak students. Those students who are weak, they come to that class and they learn some basic topics.
See, I feel that you should go prepared with the possibility that if children are older, then you should be able to adapt your activity and make it more challenging. Yeah. So I'm thinking that I would like some more suggestions to be given to Ikram on this game of shape exploration, so that you try out something which enables students to experience the idea that we want them to learn. You know, this experiential component is really important. It cannot be learning by seeing. It has to be learning by doing. They have to do something. They have to fold the paper maybe. They have to somehow experience the fact that in a square all 4 sides are equal, but not in a rectangle. So, for example, when you fold a square on the diagonal, it folds absolutely onto itself. But if you fold a rectangle on the diagonal, it will not fold onto itself. So somewhere the experiential component of the property that we are exploring has to come into focus. So I do want you to think a little bit more about that. I think you've taken a right topic, but I'm not yet convinced about the experience that you have selected for the learning of this topic. I feel that if not challenged the children enough in getting involved in the activity, it's still very directed by you. So let's go back to this idea. And I also want my colleagues here, your peers, to make some suggestions that you can take into the classroom. Yeah? So in other words, okay, Divya is suggesting that you can use squares and to construct a rectangle. Okay. I want others also to make suggestions to Ikram on what he can do. What about you, Zarmeena, Sharwari, Alif? Would you like to talk about what you have done? Sharvi?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah? Yeah. Go ahead.
I want to, I want to share my experience, my planning.
Yeah, go ahead, Alice. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, perfectly audible. Yeah.
Uh, my plan topic was about solution for grade 7. Yeah.
Okay.
Firstly, I made a 45-minute 45-minute plan for the class. Yeah.
Yeah.
Firstly, I prepare all the material for the making solution, like water, solvent, solid material, bottle, bakers, sugar, salt, and other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I came to class, I asked the student about solution and asked them a few questions. Do you know solution? How can we make solution? How many types have solution? Yeah.
Yeah.
They,
Yes.
some of the students asked me, yes sir, we know solution and we can make solutions, but they didn't know about the different types of solutions and different types of solvents. Yeah. Just they heard information about water as a solvent material.
Yes, please continue.
Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, perfectly. Please continue.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yes,
When
okay.
I assist their I start my deep lesson for the student. Firstly,
I'll have to
I
take an
met
Uber because
two.
Hari is going to take the car. There's only one car here today.
Pardon me, I can't.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll do it at 5:30 then. I'll come in. Yeah. Yes, 5.
Ali, please go ahead.
Yeah. Before starting my class, I assist the students about their previous knowledge about the solution. Some of the students answered me. They have some primary information about the solution.
Yeah. So, Ikram, so Alif, can you focus a little bit and tell me now, did you demonstrate or did the students handle the material?
Yeah. I work practical with the students with the material. I made some of the groups, 2 or 3 groups in the class. First, I divided all the material for making solutions to the tables. Then I told the students please make some with these there were alcohols and waters as a solvent material, in salt, sugars, color. I mean some color like pen color or other colors.
So, Alif, do you think that the students were able to experience this range of issues around solution solvents that you wanted them to discover, like solubility, insolubility? Did you get them and different types of solvents and solutes? Do you think the experience gave students?
Yes.
Yeah, they did. Any unexpected questions or interesting questions that they asked? Yeah. What questions did they ask, which made you feel that they were engaged and learning something?
Yes. The interesting question for me solvent properties, the solvent properties of color in the water. They asked me, sir, how we can to solve the color in the water. They both of them are liquid. Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, okay. So they were
Yeah.
asking about
They,
two liquids. Yeah, right.
yeah, they ask about two liquids. Sir, how can we differentiate color with the water? That which one is solvent, and how can we differentiate which one is solvent? Yeah,
And which is a
color is
solute.
solvent
Yeah.
or water is solvent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good questions. Yeah. Very
uh,
good questions that the children ask. Yeah. So here again,
because because they
correct.
yeah, they
Yeah.
can ask this kind of ask because this was grade 7. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is a great example of the idea that actually Jayashree talks about in her paper on science, where you use this experiment in order to explore a phenomenon, enable children to engage with the phenomenon and the terminology that's associated with it. And the generative experience, in the sense that it gives a rise to questions, is something that definitely this experience is throwing up
Yeah.
for us to consider. So yeah, it's a good activity, and it gives us many things to engage with and reflect on in terms of
Yeah.
activity and experience. Great.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Alif. Yeah.
There was many. Yeah, okay. There was many other questions they
Yeah.
asked me in. It was very interesting for me, and it was a very big question for the students to create
Yeah.
during this kind of experiment or lesson to implement
Yeah.
to them.
Sure. Yeah. So I'd like you all to document your experiences using the rubric that I shared last time, and please send it in. We will not spend another class discussing your experiences, although it's very rich. But if some of you are really want to talk about the experience that you have had, then we'll keep a little time next class for it. But I won't give the whole hour over to this. I'll have to end the class now. I have another meeting that I need to get into. So we'll discuss the Jayashree Ramdas paper that I had planned for today, which is Experiments in Science. We'll take it up in our next meeting. Okay? I think that might be the last meeting in the course, Imaya. Is that correct? Or do we have any?
We have two more actually
Oh,
on
okay, great.
February
Yeah.
1st and February 8th.
Okay. Okay, great. That's really nice. Then we have a couple more classes. So let's keep a little time for this next class. But we will also have to discuss your rubric for resource evaluation. So we'll keep some time for that as well. Yeah. Okay. So see you all next Friday. Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.